What's going on, everybody? And welcome to Success Through Failure. I'm PJ.
I'm Nathan.
And today we are going to talk about Nate's journey through eBay. Right? You made over 100 grand last year in eBay sales, right?
Yes, way over. Yeah, in sales. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Nice. So from 0 to 100 in 1 year.
Yes.
Easily. We're nice. So we're just gonna do a little Q&A today, and he's just gonna tell kind of his story and how you figured out the system.
Okay.
So start us off. I mean, what?
I only started doing eBay. I didn't really want to do eBay.
Okay.
I had a small business that I kind of had to do. I was kind of forced into it, and not something I was dying to do, but it was something I was kind of forced to do. But I knew I'd make a couple bucks. Anyway, the business wasn't doing that well, and I'm like, hey, how can I need to make a few more bucks.
Right.
What can I do to hustle here to where I can make a few dollars like tomorrow? Like not in a month or not like if 6 months, but what can I do to make some money today or tomorrow or maybe this week? And so I eBayed it.
Okay.
And progressively, my small business was a business where I had to talk to customers a lot of emails, a lot of communication, a lot of education to get a sale. Nice. So as my eBay business was slowly, actually not slowly, but it was growing pretty quickly. And I started to realize that, wait, I don't have to talk to anybody. I don't have to educate anybody. I don't have to answer all the same questions over and over again, only for them to say, well, I'm going to think about it.
Right.
Well, I'll get back to you. Or I'm going to see if somebody else will give me a lower price.
Totally. Yeah.
After I just spent an hour or 2 hours with them. People don't think that's a lot, but it's a lot.
Right.
And I realized that people didn't value my time at all. And with a wife and 3 kids,
right,
my time was worth a lot.
Totally, yeah.
So my eBay business was growing fast. In a month, I was doing, I don't know, probably $2,000 in sales, nice. $3,000 in sales. And then the second month I was doing $8,000 to $10,000 in sales.
Damn, in the second?
Right.
That's crazy.
And in like the third or fourth month, by the time I was at 6 months, I was already doing well on pace to do probably $250,000, $300,000 a year in gross sales.
That's craziness.
So it got to the point where I was making way more on eBay than I was in my small business. And I wasn't getting tons of emails. I wasn't doing any education to customers. I wasn't ever hearing, well, I'll think about it.
Right.
I was getting paid daily. I wasn't having to drive to people's houses saying, hey, are you going to pay me for that job I did for you? Which was in my business that I was doing. Right. Was that. Yeah. Sometimes people, they always want you to do it right away, but then they don't want to pay you right away. Come on,
Right.
So now progressively, I basically don't even work in that small business anymore. I just do eBay.
That's crazy.
All just like that. And it's been about 2.5 years.
Wow.
Doing this, and it's pretty good.
Yeah. So it started off just kind of just trying to make a couple extra bucks.
Because I was just like a lot of these people that are going to watch this video.
Okay.
Which I'm going to keep it clean, but I'm going to say, holy crap, I need money now.
Right.
I have a wife and 3 kids.
Right.
And I live in Southern California, which basically means that you need well over $10,000 a month.
Yeah.
So what am I going to do?
Right.
And in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, my rent is due.
Right.
What am I going to do? That's who I was.
Right.
Do I have to go to my wife and say that, your husband, the father of your kids can't provide? Nobody wants to do that.
Right.
So what do? You got to get to work.
Yeah.
And that's what I did. I had to make some money it was going to be, originally it was like, hey, I'm going to keep doing this a little bit until my business takes off.
Totally. Yeah.
But eBay took off much faster than my business.
And so now you shifted, your main focus right now is
eBay.
Selling it, yeah.
Yeah. And I've since, I don't advertise my business anymore. I used to spend a lot of money trying to advertise my business, trying to get the business up because that's what you have to do. But now I don't. If the phone rings, great.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't, that's okay.
Right.
And, yeah. And I never have to worry about getting paid. I spend 10 times less time on education.
Mm-hmm.
If I want to go in at 11 o'clock in the morning,
mm-hmm.
eBay doesn't call me and say, where are you?
Right.
So it's great.
Yeah. That's awesome.
That's why eBay's great.
Yeah. Now, do you have any experience selling on eBay before that?
I do. I mean, like, I was the average guy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, I got tired of all the people. Like, if you put something for sale on Craigslist or something back in the day,
right?
Like I'm one of those guys that would sell something for a great deal because I just want to get rid of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I don't want to have to field 100 calls for it.
Right.
So I still remember this. I sold a pair of rollerblades. Like, I never even, you buy those rollerblades, you think you're going to wear them for exercise, and you put them on once, you're like, dude, I don't even know how to do this, and I just fell on my butt, so I'm never wearing these ever again. That was me.
Okay.
And so I said, these are up for sale. And I paid like $150 for those things, right? I put them on Craigslist for $50. They were like 3 months old. And the guy goes, how about 20? And I just wanted to give him the finger. Like, come on, dude. Like, I'm already make it. So I got tired. Immediately, that was like, I started going to eBay. I realized that, eBay, on a lot of items, you fetch more for it than you ever could have. People just get caught up because it's digital money. Mm-hmm. It's different than somebody whipping out cash.
Okay.
And
because the PayPal factor, right?
Yeah, and they just don't feel it. You don't feel the money coming out of your hands.
Okay.
So that's what I mean by digital money.
Okay.
And that's the reason why, without going into a different segment, that's the reason why eBay things do fetch much more. Because that's the reason why casinos don't give you the coins out anymore. Mm-hmm. That's the reason why, like, everything else, like if you go to Dave & Buster's and to play their way overpriced video games, why they don't have you putting in money.
Right.
They have you swiping a card because you don't feel this money coming out of you. Everything now is going to a card base, so you don't feel it. Mm-hmm. Next time you go somewhere, watch. If you ever have something that's like over $50,
right,
$80, pay it with cash. Trust me, it'll feel way different.
Yeah. That's crazy.
It feels way different. No. So, anyways, and this, I used to sell my old stuff. You know what I mean? Like, I have a pretty big no hoarding law in my house. Mm-hmm. Like, if you don't use something for like 6 or 8 months, it's time for it to go.
Okay.
So, I don't have a big garage full of crap.
Right.
So, I forgot where I read that. They said if you're not using it in 6 to 8 months, you're probably never going to use it again. Okay. Besides like family pictures and whatever,
Right, yeah.
But I'll sell it.
Nice.
And so now I just realized that eBay was a better way to sell.
Mm-hmm. That's crazy.
And that's how I did it. And so I immediately went to that.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah.
So
it's
anyway,
been good.
Yeah. So that's Nate's story.
Right.
I mean, anybody could do it, right? It's not rocket science.
No, it's not rocket science. Yeah. It's you do have to be sharp.
Right, yeah. No, I'm not.
I would say that you have to be, I'm not going to be one of these guys on here, like, you're going to see a lot of these other people that are pitching programs and pitching whatever.
Right.
Saying, well, all you do is you have to log on and you're going to be rich.
Yeah.
It's not.
Right. So you got to put the work in.
Yeah, I would say you just have to, it's more of, you see somebody's, see what somebody's doing. Mm-hmm. And then you need to ask yourself, how can I make it better?
Okay.
That's what I did on eBay. Mm-hmm. If I saw a guy selling a basketball,
right?
How could I make it better? Mm-hmm. Now, I know it sounds stupid, right? But there's more than just selling a basketball.
Right.
I can make my listing look better. I can have a better offer with it if he buys something else from me. I can do, and as you know, that's kind of, I'm sure we'll get into that a later thing, but that's how I do really well on eBay is you may think that you're selling a basketball and I'm selling a basketball.
Right.
Well, I'm here to tell you right now, my basketball will sell first. Mm-hmm. I know it will. That's why I have no fear about selling just about anything on eBay because you can sell the exact same basketball that I have. We can sell it together, and I guarantee you mine will sell first. 8 out of 10 times.
Right.
So in the global scale of things, I know I'll do well because there's different things to encourage people to buy. And that's what I'm saying. Find something. Find what you see that people are selling a lot of.
Right.
And then think about how can I do this better.
Right. And that's
and there's always a crack.
Right. Okay, so it's just breaking down the science of the buyer and the other sellers.
It's not necessarily working really hard. It's just about being sharp. Mm-hmm. You know what? He's making this mistake here. He's doing this mistake here. Whether it's his shipping rate, whether it's his over. The easy thing, obviously, is looking at his very first price. Can I go cheaper?
Right.
Can I ship it there faster? Can I? All these different little things. Mm-hmm. You'll find something.
Right.
And if the guy's perfect, high five that guy.
Right.
And then go to another item.
Okay.
And then go to another item. Don't be married to it. Just because you like basketballs doesn't mean you have to sell basketballs.
And that's key, right? You can't be married to a product. If it's not working, you got to move on.
Right.
Right.
Obviously, I think you should sell something that you know about and that you like.
Right.
Also, something that does not have I don't know if this is probably a different video, but really quick, you don't want to sell something that has a very high chance of being returned.
Okay. Yeah.
Returns will kill you in eBay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, those little things.
Right.
But like I'm saying, it's not rocket science.
Mm-hmm.
It's just something that, you know, if you think you can spend, in the very beginning, you'll spend a little bit more time.
Right.
But once you're set up like you and me are,
mm-hmm.
you're going to spend an hour and a half a day.
Yeah. 5
days a week. So what do we got there? We got about less than 10 hours a week.
Right.
To do pretty good.
Right. Not answering all the emails and BS.
That's about what all my time is.
Yeah.
My hour and a half a day is answering stupid questions.
Uh-huh.
But besides that,
but not nearly what it was before.
No.
Right?
Well, the problem was in my old business, I would spend an hour and a half with somebody, and they would walk.
Right.
And here, it's usually usually people on eBay ask questions because they're very interested in buying, and it's not a matter of I'm spending an hour and a half with one customer either. Mm-hmm. I mean, I'm telling you, out of my hour and a half I spend on eBay a day, 45 minutes of it is probably answering questions, half of it. Mm-hmm. But I probably answered 30 questions. Mm-hmm. So I dealt with 30 people, answered 30 problems in 45 minutes, where I would spend an hour and a half with somebody and they would walk.
Right.
So I just dealt with 30 people. And I've noticed that most of the time, there's also, that's a different video as well, but how you answer questions can also lead to much bigger sales. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's very easy to get, openly, honestly, I don't like answering questions. Mm-hmm. It's the least favorite thing for me to do on eBay.
Right.
But you need to take that, I call it like, the energy pill.
Uh-huh.
Like Pac-Man.
Right.
And he takes the Energizer, right? And he eats up that's your chance.
That's the rock star, right?
Yeah. That is the rock star that I don't leave anywhere without. We'll do a shameless plug. See, we got that right here. You don't go anywhere without this. But you have to take your energy pill.
Right.
And realize to them it's important. Mm-hmm. Even though I've answered the same question 500 times. And if you show them an energetic answer,
right,
I found at least a 75% conversion rate.
Well, because if they're that deep into it, like you said, they're looking to buy, and then you got a one-on-one.
It's not a very. It's good that eBay makes it that way. Mm-hmm. That it's not a very exciting thing to message somebody on eBay.
Right.
So you don't get very many people that are just like, "Hey, how's it going?" You know what I mean? Like whatever. Yeah. Where in my other small business, that's how it was. Like, well, I was thinking of this. Can we sit down and talk about this? I had just drove by and I thought I would come on in. Mm-hmm. I had time to kill. Right. I thought I'd just ask you some questions. Oh my, are you kidding me? Right. You know what I mean? Like, there's a thing called the internet. Yeah. Look it up if you have questions.
Right.
Right. Oh. So that's what eBay, I think, and the other time, the other 45 minutes, we're just doing administrative stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then, but I would say, I wouldn't say it's really crazy work.
Yeah.
But just like you and me, the whole day, I think you and me analyze everything we see. And we're like, could we sell that?
Yeah.
Could we do this? Mm-hmm. But I don't really call that work.
No. That's like the chase. Right?
It's the chase.
Yeah. Right.
It's just like when I walk, because I've owned many small businesses before. Mm-hmm. When I walk into a restaurant, I instantly analyze the restaurant. Are they making money? Is he doing this right? Because I used to own a restaurant.
Right.
So it doesn't mean I'm actually working, but with like eBay stuff, I am constantly looking and have my sensors open to a new product or a new idea or something else to see if somebody else is doing it.
Right. And that's the fun part for you, right? So instead of dealing with all the BS of the customers.
Yeah, I don't pack the orders anymore. Mm-hmm. I'm lucky enough that I don't pack the orders. I don't do anything. Yeah. We have people that do that now, so because we're making enough money, you know what I mean? So that's always a good thing. Mm-hmm. Now it's just constantly like we're an idea machine.
Right.
And that's the biggest for me, and I think for you, the biggest rewarding thing in this whole thing is to figure a product out, to get a product.
Right.
Whether I'm into it or not doesn't really matter. Every time that we get something and it sells really good, we're like, yes. And it's that great high five moment, like, you know, and there's been times when I said, hey, I think this, and you've been like, no. And you were right. And there's been times, like, you know what I mean, like, where I'm like, no, and you pick something and it ended up crushing it. We're like, yes. And I was like, you're so smart. And so then you're like, you know, it's kind of like a fun back and forth. Like, man, you're so dumb. You know what I mean? You made a mistake. You don't win on all of them.
Right.
But that's the great thing about eBay is that you don't have to usually get 5,000 of one thing before, you know, and be invested.
And that's like the big thing between like eBay and Amazon, right? Because I jumped on Amazon.
Yeah, I was never an Amazon guy. You were.
Yeah, and it was cool. Like I was doing the FBA thing, and I was making a little bit of money off of it, but it wasn't, you know, not enough. You know, it's like $10 one day.
There's no vacations coming your way.
No, definitely not. And so, but I had to sit on all this product, and that was, you know. It was in the Amazon shops or whatever, but it's a lot nicer when you're going smaller quantities and
absolutely,
you know,
yeah.
So
I agree, but yeah, that's how I did it, and then now it's a full-time gig, and awesome. You know, now it's like you know, it's the best thing is the freedom.
Yeah,
you know, the best thing is the freedom. I think like right now, people are just so locked into their jobs. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing.
Right.
But like, you know, if you have a kids and a family or a wife and everything else, like, you know, especially this day and age, like, and again, I'm going to paraphrase because I live in Southern California, right? And I haven't lived anywhere else for a very long time. Now, while this is a beautiful place to live, we have a big problem in Southern California that it's so expensive to live here that the husband works, the wife works.
Right.
The kids barely get by and everything else because it's so expensive.
Right.
That what happens is families don't become families. They become robots.
Right.
The husband and wife. That's why we have a huge divorce rate out here. Not trying to get too theory going here, but that's what I'm trying to not do. I'm trying to keep my family. I'm trying to spend time with my family. I'm trying to know my family. So for me, it's all about working less.
Right.
And, you know, still being able to provide a handsome life.
Yeah.
Totally. Where so many of these people out here are having to work 60 hours a week. The husband's working 60 hours a week. The wife is working 60 hours. And then what is there time for kids, or is there time for them to even know each other?
Right.
So that's what I like about eBay the most. Once you get it all set up and ready to go. And it doesn't take that long.
Yeah.
Like I said, I was already doing huge money in 6 months.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's like a drug. Once you get your first like $100 in sales, you're gonna be like, "Whoa, this feels pretty good. This tastes pretty good."
It's almost like a video game, right?
Yeah.
You start figuring out the system, and it's just, yeah.
And then once you get the controls down, you can start going, and then you start, and it can happen very fast to where you know, and it's exciting.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you right now, the only excitement I get from eBay now is looking for that next product.
Yeah.
And getting that thing that jumps. You know, that's what me and you like to do.
Right.
And if you like that game, you know, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And everybody always says, you know, at least all my friends used to say in their jobs, I wish they would just really rate me and pay me on my performance.
Right.
Like, I have no problem on a sliding scale.
Right.
Because I'll work hard, but I want to get paid good.
Right.
But unfortunately,
like right away, not like 3 years.
But But unfortunately, the guy sitting next to me at the other desk is doing nothing all day, and he's getting the same as me. Right. And in fact, you know what? He kissed somebody's butt, so he moved up before me, even though he does nothing.
Right.
But I'm here grinding my work, and I'm so eBay's the ultimate thing.
Right.
If you're successful and you bring success, you're gonna get paid a lot more.
Yeah.
So it's a great thing because you never have anybody to blame but yourself.
Yeah.
And that's the way I liked it.
Right.
I didn't want to have to blame it on, well, you know, the supervisor didn't like me, or this guy was family members of this guy, and he was related to that guy, so he got... I didn't want all those. I couldn't handle those work politics. So I wasn't good with it. Mm-hmm. So eBay worked great for that.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. So we're probably opening a lot of new videos here.
Well, sweet. Thanks for your time. And again, subscribe and comment if you want to see any future videos.
This guy isn't telling you either. He's got some pretty good eBay stores himself. And he does all right himself. Okay, so like it's not really just me, but
Nate's he put the one who taught me everything though. So like bringing him in and
I taught you some minor things, but yeah. And that's another thing. I mean, I'm gonna do a whole bunch. We are improvising this, by the way, guys. We're not gonna do a super structured thing here, like to where we're just gonna be 100% real. This is not gonna be like, hey, how can we script this out to get people to really, there's no notes here, like there's nothing. So the thing is that I can tell you, if you do have a friend, I want to throw this out there. Yeah. If you do have a friend, the more people involved, to a certain extent. Have a couple people, one or two other people. It's great to be able to bounce ideas off of people, and they'll keep you accountable if you let them, without taking it offensively. Right? Like, hey, what do you think of this? I think it sucks. Now you can't get mad because you just asked them a question. Right? Never ask a question if you can't handle the answer. Okay? So if he says it sucks, why does it suck? Right? And then he can ask you, why do you think it's good? And then you guys can kind of come to a conclusion. Totally. Hey, but I think it's good because of this. And then you may be like, I didn't see that angle of it. Right. And that's what I can tell you can take you to a whole nother level. If you have somebody that you trust and somebody that you actually like working with or whatever. And we don't work directly with each other. Right. But we work like, via cell phone together. Like, hey, what do you think of this picture? What are your positives? What are your negatives? And, focus groups are key. Right. Whether they're small or big. Yeah. I think that's key. Yeah. Yeah, it's probably a different video. Yeah. Again, sorry about that.
No, this is good.
He told me you better stay on track. You better stay on track. Yeah. So that's what I'm going off the tracks, guys.
All right. Well, until next video, we'll see you later.